back to the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Welcome everybody back to the show, and my guest for tonight is Nathan Bomber Brown, a BYU fan that runs the Big 12 Mafia account on Twitter. He's going to help me go through this who would you hire version of the Big 12 college football coaches rankings. Let's get right into it. Well, welcome to the show, first of all, there, Nathan. Appreciate you coming on the show. You were obviously on there with me the other night whenever we were on Couz's show, and we gave him a hard time about it, or at least I gave him a hard time about it.
I think you were more than me. Yeah, I was just listening more than anything.
Hey, but he deserved it. I mean, come on, man. Who's gonna choose Venables the last coach in this conference when you've got Neil Brown's out there and Dana Holgerson's out there in the world?
After we spoke, I went through and refashioned my own list, and I don't know how unique I am, but I think I'm somewhere probably in the middle.
Right on. Well, good deal. Well, we can definitely share your list here in just a second too, but so everybody kind of let me know. First off, remember what I said, that what we're going to do is we're just going to do it as who would you hire first. So I know with our we're going to have a pro Oklahoma Sooner crowd in here, Nathan. So just so you know. But
that's all right.
Yeah. So what we'll do is everybody's going to be, Couz isn't going to make it. He said he's had to run off and do something with his daughter. So he's not here to defend himself even, but he'll catch it later, I'm sure. Anyway, now, if you remember, he had Brent Venables last and Joey McGuire second to last in this conference. Now, of course, he was going by what they've done as head coaches, being only 1 year in. One was 7-6, the other was 6-7. So, it kind of is what it is. But here's what I would tell you. If you were going to hire a coach, if you're an AD at one of these schools and you're going to hire a coach, I'm going to tell you that it wouldn't be Brent Venables last. And in fact, most of my Sooner fans are probably going to say he's got to go first or somewhere in that top three anyway. What do you guys think about that? I'm glad everybody's in here. We got how many so far? Oh, man. Yeah, 24 comments. Sorry we're late, by the way, guys. Fatty, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm usually not late. Hawaiian Eyes, thanks for coming in. Hank. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry about that. Like I said, I'm trying out this new software, and I was struggling getting it figured out. So we're working on it here. But anyway, you got BV at 5. Okay, well, run down. Tell you what, if you've got BV at 5, and then 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share your screen here.
Okay.
So, all right. Everybody see that pretty good. All right, so we're going to go with his first here. So he's got Kleiman and Leipold.
Right.
Yeah, I like that one pretty good too. That's not bad.
I think what I was trying to do is, obviously I'm a newbie into the Big 12. I'm the first to admit it. A lot of these schools I've been watching for years and years where the coaches, I'm uninformed about several of them. So if I get it wrong, please forgive me.
I wouldn't necessarily call it wrong anything anyway, but I think you're, especially with your top even 3, even 4 really. I mean, I think that a lot of people would probably go there. What do you got on yours, Hawaiian Ice? What's your number 1? Go 1 to 5 for me here, and we'll go and kind of match them up. Now, so Chris Kleiman, number 1. Now, obviously, they won the Big 12 championship, winning the game there. They did get throttled in their New Year's Six Bowl by Alabama, but that kind of happens. Lance Leipold, number 2. Tell me why there. I like that.
Are you talking to me?
Yes. Why would you hire him first?
I think those two have shown the ability to recruit and to motivate. And actually, the top three, all three of them, not in the best situations, right? Especially with BYU, Kalani hasn't had the resources or had access to all the things that come with a Power Five conference. So, Kleiman and Leipold both, in my opinion, have overperformed. And so, who's to say they couldn't do it again? Especially because they're both relatively young head coaches.
Absolutely.
So that's my justification there. And I think Sonny Dykes is a great coach, but that TCU team he got from Patterson was loaded, and
Right.
Patterson just had lost them. So I don't know. We'll have to see how the next couple of years go with him.
And I kind of feel like they're probably, I've been saying this a lot, I expect that these guys are going to have a hangover when it all is said and done,
Sure.
because they had a lot of super seniors on that team last year.
Right.
Obviously, they had a veteran quarterback that had been around, that was his 5th or 6th year at TCU.
Right.
He'd been there for a long time. And then, so yeah. Okay, so Hank is saying, you're saying that he may have had just a fluke season. Well, I would tell you this. Here's what I would say. When you look at Jalen Daniels, I wouldn't agree with that, because I would say that guy's amazing. They've got a great back. Heck, even their second string quarterback wasn't that bad. I mean, he almost beat Oklahoma in Norman. Now, everybody was scoring on Oklahoma last year, by the way. But I would tell you that Lance Leipold was winning at Buffalo. He had them in the top 25 before he took the job at Kansas. I didn't even know they had a freaking program called Buffalo.
Exactly.
So, I might have known it, but it's one of those deals where he's won. And then before that, he was, of course, at Division III, but he won 7 national championships. So there's something he knows how to do with this coaching stuff. And to go from 2 wins to 7 wins, that's big. It's big. So I agree. I think he's recruiting well. He's only been there a year and a half and automatically goes in and does as well. I have no problem with that. Sataki, talk to me about Kalani, man. I really like this guy as a coach.
Well, I don't know how much people know about BYU, but we have several restrictions. We're on top of it. The hardest thing that the school manages is the honor roll, which is basically a morality set of rules that are set up for the school, and the students that come there everybody has to sign it and live by it. Now, there's other schools. Notre Dame has a morality clause in there for their student athletes as well, but it's pretty. If you were a freewheeling young man coming out at 18 and you wanted to go see the world, BYU might not be the party school. In fact, I think we're last in party schools on the annual
party
list.
School rankings.
Right. But Kalani has been able to overcome those challenges, and he's recruited really well, had some really good individual performers, and I think now with the additional funding that we're going to get from the Big 12, you're going to see us really shoot up in recruiting rates. In fact, I think we're in the top 20 for transfer portals this spring season. I think we have 13 or 14 we've already transferred in, and that's one way we're getting around the recruiting challenges that we have. Is we'll bring in grad transfers, we'll bring in people that have performed at other places, and Kalani's shown an ability to motivate them, and then he's got a great coaching staff around him, so they could surprise.
Right. And and I was a fan of your last coach, Bronco Mendenhall, man. He had done a great job there and he was there for such a long time too. So
he was, yeah.
I think that it was kind of unfortunate, kind of the way things went down there when he got to Virginia. But I think the Bronco was a great coach too. But Kalani Sitake's picked up the baton and just kind of kept going with it. So I would say I would agree with you on that one as well. So Hawaii and I started off with Sonny Dykes. When you take somebody to the college football playoff, he does have a lot of experience. I don't necessarily have a hard time with that one either. So number 3, let's go to number 3 for him. Are you kidding me, Scott Satterfield? Bro, come on now. Scott Satterfield, Hawaii Nice, come on, man. And then Gus Malzahn. Okay, I could go with Gus Malzahn. I think Satterfield's more towards the bottom of my list, but that's just me. All right. Okay, so we'll go back to yours here for just a second. Now, obviously, you've got Sonny. You had him drop to number 4. Obviously, I would agree with you. He still had a lot of. I mean, they did very well in the transfer portal for sure. To start off last year, but they did have a lot of those super senior 25-year-old guys. I think that's kind of when I think about BYU, I kind of think about that because you go on your mission first, correct? And so you come in already a little older, right? And so
not all of them. Like for instance, Zach Wilson, the quarterback, he was 4 straight years at BYU. So he graduated or when he went to the NFL, he was 21. So they're not all super old, but there are those players that go on missions and come back and then have to come back and get physically fit and then are back on the team.
Right. Yeah, that's great. So, and this is pretty awesome. So, I thought that but you tend to have some older guys sometimes, or at least it used to, I guess, be that way a little bit. So you get a little more experience as far as age is concerned.
Life experience for sure.
Life experience, especially. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
On your mission, you're not doing conditioning. You're walking around. You can ride a bicycle, but most of the time you're just in a suit and tie and preaching the faith to people. So it's not anybody who thinks that the extra 2 years by itself. Maturity obviously is there, but the football you walk away from for 2 years. It's hard to stay in physical shape, and it's a challenge. So it has its pluses and minuses.
Definitely. All right, so we've got. All right, so after Sonny, then you go to Dave Aranda. What do you like about Dave?
Well, I think Dave's been great at Baylor, and last year was obviously a down year for him. He's defense-minded, which I am a defense wins championships guy. But if we're talking about just from the last 12 months, I think the team they had last year underperformed. That's what I have for Matt Campbell as well. I think they've both had relatively good recruiting classes the last several years. And I didn't understand. I really don't get Iowa State. Somebody's going to have to explain that one to me because he has overperformed for years, and he can't seem to win more than, 8 games or 9 games? I mean, it doesn't make sense. From the outside looking in, it doesn't make sense. Right.
Yeah, well, and it just seems weird to me that, when you're talking Texas for sure. I mean, with Steve Sarkisian, he's not getting it done there. He's had 3 premier jobs. Washington is a premier job in the Pac-12. It has been for a long time. Obviously, every program goes through its ups and downs. But I mean, even though he got it at a downtime, they were on their way back. But even in his best years, he wasn't able to win 10.
Right.
You can't make excuses about SC, and you certainly don't get any excuses when you're at Texas when you have Bijan Robinson and guys like that. So it would be, So I definitely I agree with you. I think that he's that when it comes to Sark, he falls down my list for sure, and I see that you've got him at 11. I don't have any problem with that. Sonny Dykes at number 4. I do think that Sonny's a good coach, and I think that he's proven that he can get stuff done. I would think that you probably need to back that one up. I have a feeling that Colorado's probably going to beat them, with all the transfers they had come in, and all that. So, that's just kind of where I feel about it. But so then your next one is obviously, we've got Matt Campbell. Yeah, I like Matt Campbell also. And I know a lot of people in here don't. And in fact, I think it was Hawaiian Ice that said that he has Campbell all the way at 14.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty harsh.
Man, I'm gonna have to give you a link to come in here and tell us all about that in a few minutes, Hawaiian Ice. All right. Now the next one, obviously you've got Venables. Okay,
right.
So and obviously, you said Bear Cupboard, TBD. I see that. Okay.
Yeah, he could be number 1 this year. He could very easily be number 1. They win the Big 12 and they're in the college football playoff. That could easily happen.
And I would, you're not going to get a whole lot of arguments from this crowd on that one for sure.
Right.
Now the thing is, that I feel like I agree with you on it. And the reason that, I've got him, I'm going to have him in my top 5. And the reason being, because if I'm hiring, and right now, I mean, I don't want to throw him above everybody but I do think that, I don't have a problem with the guys that are in this conference. I probably would take him first. That being said, that's kind of a homer move for me to do that, so I'm not going to do it. I started off with Lance Leipold. I think that he's probably one of the top coaches in the country, period, and I think that he's definitely shown that he can get the job done in just short amount of time. I think he's very good. Number 2,
if he wins again, sorry to interrupt you. I was just going to say, if he wins again, he's not going to be at Kansas next year. So if he wins, 8 games, I think he'll get hired somewhere else.
That's possible. I think that's there's a possibility of that. I wouldn't say that it's a definite thing because I don't think that he necessarily minds. He has experience there at Nebraska, places like that. I think the Midwest is okay with him. And if they are doing some renovations to the stadium, they're doing some stuff that could help him. I think it would depend on what the job is, but I do feel like he should get a job somewhere else, and I would probably still take a job somewhere else. But that being said, I don't know for sure that he leaves. That being said, I have Kleiman number 2, and honestly, I could have easily put him number 1 also because he's been kicking Oklahoma's butt since he got there. I think he's won 3 out of 4 over Oklahoma, and that was with Lincoln. He was doing it too. So I mean,
wow, okay.
He seems to find a way. Obviously, I think he's a good coach. He's won 6 national championships at FCS level, so he's definitely a good coach. I have him at number 2 also, though. And then I had number 3, I had Sataki. Again, I really think here by now I would probably go with Venables. And the reason I would say Venables over Sataki if I was actually hiring, like what we're talking about, is just the recruiting. Right. The fact that he has come in, he's got 2 top 10 classes. He finished number 8 in a month after getting here from to take over for Lincoln and Riley. And then the next year, obviously, he pulls in the number 4 class. 4 of those players in the top 100, that he had 6 total top 100 players. 4 of them are on the defensive side of the ball. As I was telling Couz, his defenses finished in the top 10, 8 out of the last 10 seasons he was at Clemson. They were in 4 national championship games, winning 2 of them. He knows what he's doing. What? Overtime with Gundy. So what? Michael Ray Gundy because of overtime? Okay, yeah, I'll keep going on there. Let's see. Yeah, so I would probably go with him at 3 instead of 4. Sataki, I would probably switch him out. But to be honest with you, I mean, as I said, going on here, and I'm getting yelled at already. I already knew it. To be honest, I would have probably taken him first anyway, just because of the fact that, like I said, he's out recruiting everybody. They still got the number 1 quarterback in the country. He won the Elite 11, and they're recruiting offense and defense. So we're gonna see how it goes. I love the way they're working with the Soul Mission. I don't know that this year is definitely the year. I feel like they should be in the conference championship game, particularly with the way that their schedule sets up. But he definitely does still have something to prove as a head coach, and there is a learning curve to that. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. But I do feel like his experience in college football and as a defensive coordinator, and he's learned from Bob Stoops and Dabble Swinney what it takes to be a good head coach. So that brings me to number 5, and my number 13 guy, or Couz's number 13 guy, is going to be my number 5. That's Joey McGuire. I think he's better than Sonny, and I'll go Sonny at 6. And because then I think McGuire, obviously, he's been Baylor's best season. It was with him as their assistant head coach. He knows defense. He came in and recruited a top 25 class, which I don't remember the last time that Texas Tech had a top 25 recruiting class. I covered Texas Tech whenever Mike Leach was there. He never got a top 25 class.
Right.
I promise you. So I could see that. I think that, and he had some big wins. He beat Oklahoma and Texas this past season. So, and I think Joey's doing a good job. So that would be he would be a hire that I would make. Sonny would be the next one probably for me. Then I would go to Campbell. I'd go to Matt Campbell after that. 7, 8. I would be at, maybe, Gus Malzahn.
See, he's interesting because he's won a national championship, right, at Auburn. But at the same time,
as an assistant, but he went to another one though as a coach though, or not.
Right,
they were close to one, but.
My point with him is, and that's why I put time will tell, is that it's not about UCF at all. It's about him as an individual and as a person. He got run from these places after being successful. So I don't know how good of a people person he is. In other words, with the people around him.
Right. Well, and he's another one of those guys that was a amazing high school coach. Then he got an assistant's job at Auburn and at Arkansas at one point too. So that's kind of where that came from. And Gus I think he's a good coach. I think that what happened there is out on the plains in Alabama, Auburn, he happened to be the head coach at Auburn at a time when Alabama was the greatest team in the country.
Right.
And so he just didn't beat Bama enough. I mean, they had some good, and they had a couple of seasons where they were closer to like that 7-6, 8-5. And I don't think losing to UCF was good for his career either, because that gave them their quote unquote national championship that I will never.
Yeah. So, nobody should.
Nobody should. Yeah. But I do think he's a pretty good coach. I'll probably have him there. Number 9. Okay. So finishing out yours, you had Campbell, then we went to Venables, then you had Joey McGuire at number 8 as well.
Right.
And then you had Gundy at 9 as well, just like I did. And 10 was Malzahn, so I had him a couple of spots ahead of that.
Right.
Yep. And then, so tell me obviously with Sark, that's the thing. I mean, obviously you're looking at 7-win Sark, so that you've got him at 11.
Yeah. I think and we talked about this on Couz's show, I honestly believe if he doesn't win, at least make it either to the conference championship or win 10 games, he's going to get fired. Their recruiting classes are too big, too much money. Boosters have a short temperament. And if he doesn't get run this year after winning 9 games, for sure the next year he would get run. So I like Sark. I think he's a top 5 offensive coordinator of all time. I mean, he won how many championships at USC and at Alabama. So you don't do that just falling out of bed.
Right. No doubt. Chicken, thank you, and welcome back to the show. Thank you for the super chat there. He says, how are special teams, snapper, punter? They are still working on that as we speak. I know that was something that that Lincoln Riley definitely did not care anything about special teams. He would never hire a coordinator, and from what I understand, they practiced that about 30 minutes a week, any of their special team stuff while he was there. And I don't think that he's done it since he's got to USC either, which is weird to me. And I would tell you, when I was sitting at the Rose Bowl watching them blow this lead to Georgia, and he hit that stupid squib kick that turned into really bad things for Oklahoma, as we all know. It makes you really, really not like it now that since you have the fact that he was only practicing it 30 minutes a week. So it makes you really wonder what he was thinking there.
Yes.
So, anyway, now let's see. Whoops, looking here. Man, I'm messing around with this whole thing. Okay, so then you got Holgerson after Sark. I think that resource-wise, I'm not positive that that's the problem. I think that and this is a Mike Gundy type. He worked with Coach Gundy. And I heard him say last year, and I don't know if you saw, but they played Kansas at home. They're getting killed, and there was kids fighting on the sideline.
I did see the kids fighting. I remember that. Yeah.
And he didn't take responsibility for it. He said, "That's not me. That's not on me." And I was like, "Who else is it on?"
Yeah.
So that was wild. So one of those deals that I think that he's pretty close to Gundy right now. So I would agree that he definitely deserves to be down there. I don't know that it's a resource thing. They have the guys that owned the UFC for the longest time. Now they own the Houston Rockets. The Fertitta family is big boosters for Houston.
Okay.
So they definitely have some money there. But
Okay.
it's a matter of anyway, it's a matter of it's an issue there. I think he's in trouble for his job if he doesn't win a lot this year, and I'm not sure that he's gonna. Now, after Holgerson, Scott Satterfield, and then Neil Brown, that's really about the way that I would probably have had it. Let's see, I have 11. I had Sark already, so I would probably go. Yeah, I'd probably go Satterfield. Who else did I not get in there
yet? Neil Brown.
Yeah, I'm definitely. He's gonna go last for me.
Yeah.
But Neil Brown is last for me, and then Satterfield. I'd go with Dana at number 13, and I'm still missing one though. At 12 and Aranda. I probably would have moved him up a little bit, but I do think that Aranda has the issue that I have with Dave Aranda is that first year he goes 2-7. I understand that Matt Rule left, but they shouldn't have been that bad. It didn't seem like. I mean, they were playing for the conference title the year before that.
Right.
Then he has a great year, wins the conference championship and goes to the Sugar Bowl, but then they just struggled again this past year, and I just don't know what the issue is there. In the end, I would probably hire him over some of these other guys. In fact, I know I would over Satterfield. I would probably hire him over Sark. I would certainly hire him over Gundy. But if I'm trying to rank them as to what they're doing, I'm not positive about the guy, to be honest with you. So
if he only wins 4 games in conference this year, he might start to be looking over his shoulder.
I think he might be already, yeah.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it. Had he have backed up that deal from the 2 years ago where when they win the Sugar Bowl over Ole Miss and SEC team, they win the conference championship the way they did. If he backs that up with another 9 or 10 win season, he might have got that Nebraska job instead of Matt Rule.
Oh, very easy. I think they were trying to interview him.
They definitely interviewed him, and I think that it was early on.
They interviewed him. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So it's I think that that's one of those things where I would probably hire him over Gundy for sure, and probably over Sark. But aside from that, as I said, I'm not a big Dana Holgerson guy. I believe that, and I think that Neil Brown is. I think he's dead man walking. Hey, you guys all know the drill, right? Say it with me. Smash that red subscriber button. Like our videos. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss one moment of the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Hey, we even have amazing pod merchandise right here in our store. Hey, while you're here, don't forget to check out all these other amazing channels and subscribe to them too.